Today we're going to talk about IQ, since they say the whites are smarter than the blacks. And while we're talking about irrelevant topics, we'll discuss crime. Blacks, Hispanics, and whites can't read. Why you think I started a podcast? It's a fucking racist thing with you niggas, and that's why I'm coming at you niggas next. They love to talk about black violence. Have you heard of white violence? White people commit violent crime at 3 times the rate of Asians. When is Nick Fuentes gonna talk about white violence? Everybody's arguing about their 2 genders. I sat next to her hermaphrodite in math class. Am I allowed to talk about the Jews? If she wanted, we could do it in the morning. Yawning, letting my eyes stretch, baby, I ain't a novice. I've been a dog, she FaceTime, but I never call. Before we start this episode, I want to touch on the unfortunate assassination of Charlie Kirk. He was one of the leading voices in the conservative movement, and he passed away he didn't pass away, he was assassinated at 31 years old. He was the CEO and founder of Turning Point USA, an organization that was making headways in the conservative movement, bringing in youth voters. I came across his clips on social media, and frankly, I disagree with a lot of his political commentary. He said a lot of things that I thought were homophobic, sexist, and racist. But though I disagree with him, I disagree with the fact that he was murdered. We need to stop the political violence, and we need to start having conversations with one another. So a lot of you are probably wondering, why did I start this show? Well, I wanted a place where people could talk freely when they disagree and try to hash out their differences. So when you come to critical commentary, I want you to expect honest and unfiltered opinions from me. I'm open to those I disagree with, and when I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. I look forward to going on this journey with you guys. In America, what I've noticed on social media is that a lot of people on the right tend to talk about blacks. And when they talk about black culture, they focus on those who are doing negative things. They talk about violence. They talk about crime. They talk about fatherless parents. And they talk about IQ. Some of the things that these people say are correct. And I'm not saying that anybody that I or other blacks disagree with is wrong. But what I will say is that if these people want to have a better America and they really want to make America great, instead of just talking about blacks, why not have a conversation with us? So I asked people like Elijah Schaefer, Sarah Stock, Jake Shields, why don't you guys have a dialogue with the people that you're constantly talking about? Instead of just tweeting those people, why don't you have some of them be guests on your show and see if maybe through conversation we could find out what is going on in the black community, what is going on in the urban community, what is going on in the white community? Because what I will say is that I notice these people on the right talking about blacks and talking about how blacks don't hold other blacks accountable. I don't hear them talking about the whites in Appalachia. I don't hear you guys talking about the lower class whites. I don't hear you guys talking about the violent whites. Because if the problem is really crime, why is the sole focus black crime? The sole focus is black crime because you're racist. If you weren't racist and you cared about the country as a whole, you may say we should focus more on black crime because black crime is more of an issue. And as a black person, I understand that. I look at the same statistics that you do. I think black people are like 7 times more likely to kill somebody than a white person. That is a problem. I think black people are like 2.5 more times to be on welfare. That's another problem. But this country isn't just black and white. Let us not forget they have Hispanics. So where do Hispanics fall in with welfare? I think Hispanics fall, I can't think of the statistic off my head. Yeah, I can. I think like 20% of the Hispanics are on welfare. 25% of the blacks are on welfare. 10% of the whites are on welfare. So as you can see, the whites are doing better than the blacks. But the 10% of whites that are on welfare, they're at a higher percentage than the Asians. The Asians are on 5% of welfare. And I never hear you conservatives talk about how whites are doing and how whites could be doing a better job and how whites maybe instead of focusing on what blacks are doing wrong, need to focus on what they're doing wrong so they can catch the Asians. And I don't want Elijah and these various people to think I'm screaming at them or this show is going to be just about bashing the right and bashing conservatives, because people on the left say a lot of things that I find ignorant and inaccurate as well. For example, in this country, I respect everybody. We have trans, we have gays, etc. But I do notice that on the left, there's a huge push to protect the minorities at the expense of the majority. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because if I do speak to Elijah, if I do talk to some of these people on the right, I want to let them know that the general theme of what they're saying is not just some truth, it's a lot of truth. You know what I mean? Like, I just said that the blacks and the whites have problems and the Hispanics, and it's like, okay, I need to understand, and other black people might need to understand. Sometimes when y'all say things, you may not mean every black, or you may not be trying to come at us. You may just be trying to say, we want to focus on your community. And I think that you call it both sides or both groups, we need to really sit down with one another and say, okay, watch his tone, give Elijah a chance. Don't just get mad at what he's saying. Give him a chance. Listen and see if some of the things he's saying could help your community. And Elijah, listen and see if some of the things could help us, help you to see us better or be more comfortable around us. I think that if we all talk to one another, we might, see what's going on. So to be more specific and to give us an idea of more of the topics we'll be talking about on this show, I brought up crime, I brought up welfare. Crime and welfare have some racial component, and we will discuss the racial component. Things like impulse control, that's in your DNA. But something else that affects crime and welfare is intelligence, education. So in terms of intelligence and education on a group level, right now, I think, there are two forms of intelligence, but we'll just stick with generalized intelligence because that's the test we take in school, and that's what most people are familiar with. So right now, they test us 4th grade, 8th grade, 12th grade if you take the ACT, SAT. But what the scores are showing is that the blacks in general, I shouldn't say the blacks, black people, but fuck it. This show is unfiltered. We can say the blacks. Black people are at about 91 IQ, right? Hispanics are at about 95. So with IQ, 100 is like the average of the population. So when people like Elijah are talking about the intelligence of blacks, though black people may not want to hear this, how you guys are testing in reading and math, you are testing below whites and Hispanics and Asians. So it may be hard to hear, but you're not doing as well as you believe. And if we as a culture and as a group maybe spent more time on education, not just resources, but in each individual's home, because it doesn't come down to the government giving you money. It comes down to individual families and individual students. If we focus more on education, maybe we could improve our scores. It's not a competition. We don't have to catch whites. We don't have to catch Hispanics. But maybe if we focus on some things, we could do better and go up from the 91, and maybe the Hispanics can go up from the 95 and could touch 100 to make us, a little bit more educated of a group. We might make some better decisions with our money. We might make some better decisions as far as our jobs and things. Now, the whites are at about 103. So again, if 100 is average and 103 is 103 is above average, I can see why when white people are looking at other cultures, they may see the behavior of the people and they may say, we don't make these choices. We're making better choices. We're making more logical choices. And again, the reason I'm saying this is because I'm trying to get everybody involved, blacks, whites, Hispanics, Asians. I want people to see the white perspective. Your group is behaving this way. This group is behaving that way. Maybe the white people aren't racist like blacks are saying. Maybe they're not racist and talking bad about you to hurt you. Maybe it's just they have a different perspective from how they're thinking and how they're moving. And they're saying, blacks, some of the things we're seeing from y'all, they don't say son and all that. They come at our neck, so fuck them. But in the spirit of trying to get along with people, maybe you can hear what they're saying and say, okay, if we come up a little bit, if we work with them, maybe we could work together. Now, I spoke about Hispanics, I spoke about blacks, and I spoke about whites. I also want to speak about Asians because we got to make sure that people don't think whites are the smartest and the ones doing the best. The Asian IQ is about 111. Now, 103 and 91 are different, and people say that the people at 103 are much smarter on social media than the ones at 91. That's a 12-point difference. Are we also now saying, I'm asking the conservative white racists specifically, are we also now saying that the Asians are much smarter than the whites? Because 111, I hope you can do math, minus 103 is 8 points. So if an 8-point gap is small, how could you say that a 12-point gap is big? And I've also learned from white conservatives, racist white conservatives, that Jews are not white. So I want to speak about the Jews. Yes, I said the Jews. their IQ generally is a little higher even than Asians. And this is not just on a small subgroup sample test. This is like testing millions of people for hundreds of years. I want to put that in because a lot of people ask me, where do I get these statistics? And am I basing these numbers on small studies? No, we have been testing people now since the 1900s. It's 100 years later, and they have checked for biases and removed things and given people resources. So at this point in America, no, it's not resources. No, it's not money and people being held back. This is just what people are scoring based on the effort and their abilities. So we will talk on that as well. See, this show is going to be real tough for a lot of people to swallow because it's going to really be honest. Some of these differences we're seeing, maybe we can do something about. Some maybe we can't. We can do something about those things that we try harder on. But those things that are genetic, genetics take a while to change. They change over centuries. They change over generations. But back to the topic at hand, y'all gonna get used to this. Sometimes I go off on a tangent. I gotta work on it. The Jews, like I was saying, are at about 115. So as you notice, if whites are at 103 and Jews are at 115 and blacks are at 91, it's very interesting to see how whites call blacks so stupid. Elijah, I'm talking about you. And then you don't hear whites talk about where they fall with the Asians and Jews. I'm actually about to tell niggas real quick. I'm about to pull up these statistics if I can find them before I go into crime and all that stuff. Oh Lord, I got all kind of stuff on there. Have to work on that. IQ in America broken down by race. I'm just trying to show you guys the statistics. I wasn't prepared, I'm a nigga. Huh? Oh shit. I'm just saying, not to toot my own horn, but I was correct. So this is saying on the AI, if y'all think the Jews are not behind the AI, I gotta start with the Jew jokes, but shit, they be funny. The AI says that the data consistently shows a difference in IQ among racial groups. They say the sociologists and scientists do not attribute this to disparities in genetic. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's probably bullshit. We're going to get into this maybe later on a deep dive. They're saying that it's not genetic. I just told y'all it was genetic because I believe that there's a genetic component, and I believe the genetic component might be bigger than the environment component. And let me tell you why for a sec. So when you look at something like sub-Saharan Africa, some places the standard IQ is low. It's like 40, it's like 60. But in places like Nigeria where the resources are better, it's up to like 80, 85. Okay, my belief is if you were to pick up the resources in the rest of sub-Saharan Africa, you probably could get the average sub-Saharan African IQ up to like 80, 85. And then like this is saying in America, African Americans who we have like 25% European DNA in us. So you can't compare us genetically to pure Africans. Our DNA is 25% European. So our IQ is a little bit higher than theirs, just saying 85, 90. And then you go to the Hispanics, which I don't know if y'all know. Hispanics are white technically. Hispanics are from Spain. Though Hispanics IQ they're saying is 90, 95. So if you see as we're going from pure black to black and European to now the Southern Europeans, which are not Northern, they're at 95. And then you go to Northern Europeans and their IQ, as this is saying, is like 100. So me not being a scientist or a psychologist, me just using common sense, is looking to me like as you go further away from the starting point of civilization, people, generally got more cognitively intelligent. I'm just saying. But as this says again, the Asians are at 106 and doesn't have the Jews for whatever reason. I'm not going to look them up right now. Okay, that was another little rant. But we were about to talk about like crime because that's a big thing. And I wanted to kind of explain to people my take on crime and why crime is different in different places. Yes, the races are committing crime at different levels. So you take a place like New Orleans, where it's, I think we're 70% black, but we're more than 13%. You do have crime in somewhere like y'all don't know about Slidell, but that's a place in New Orleans, a place in Louisiana that has a larger percentage of whites than the city of New Orleans has. So they do have less crime. My thoughts is that two things are at play. One, you have blacks and whites. So if blacks are committing crime at a higher rate per capita, for those who don't understand, if blacks are committing crime at a higher rate and you have more blacks, that place is going to have more crime than somewhere where it's a higher percentage of whites because the whites are committing less crime. But I think another factor that plays into crime is population size. So sometimes when I'm driving and going between New Orleans and Louisiana, I look at how the cities are different. In New Orleans, we have a lot of things, we have a lot of people, and we have a lot of technology. So on the good side, when you look at a major American city, you see the good and you see a lot of good because there's a lot of people to produce a lot of good. But when you look at the lower class, what you also see in cities is you see a lot of bad and you see a lot of people able to produce the bad. So for example, in New Orleans, I think our population is like maybe 500,000. We have 10 projects. This is also, I don't know about Chicago, the numbers, but I know Chicago has a lot of projects and New York has a lot of projects and California, Los Angeles has a lot of Section 8. Most American cities have a very large number of blacks and sometimes Hispanics living in Section 8. If you have a large amount of people who are poor and living in a tough environment, they're going to behave differently than if you look at a small town place like Slidell or some of these small rural places. So I think that what happens is people see the lower class of the blacks and they start saying, okay, I see a lot of blacks doing something, I'm going to call it black culture. And then they don't see a lot of whites doing the same behavior. And what they don't realize is not that white people don't do the behavior. If you look at a small town and they got 10,000 people, they might commit 100 violent crimes or let's say 1,000 violent crimes. But then if you take somewhere that has 500,000 people, instead of them committing 100 violent crimes, they're 50 times as big. They're going to commit 500 violent crimes. So my thing is, I think we should work on putting things in perspective. It's very unfair to compare the lower class of African Americans, where you have a whole bunch of people doing things, and then compare the lower class of the whites, and you see that you're talking about somewhere that's the size of a playground versus somewhere that's like the mecca of the country, like New York. Let me see. I could maybe pull up the crime rates for people real quick. Rate at which blacks commit violent crimes compared to whites. Ooh. Ooh. If I would have been prepared, I think what I would have shown you guys was that blacks are committing violent crimes at about 3 times the rate of whites. Next show, I'm going to come in with the actual numbers because that's the thing. I want to be factual. And I believe that I saw somewhere online, I got to be more proud. I think I seen that Asians are committing crime at about 3 times the rate of whites. And that's why earlier I was saying, I think some of these things are based on intelligence because as you see, there was a difference in intelligence versus the groups. But I also think some of this might be inherent. So in a multicultural society, we're going to have to talk and see how every individual is slightly different, every group is slightly different. Instead of bashing one another, because I don't want people bashing each other, how about we get together and say we have similar problems, they're at different rates. Why don't we see what we can do to make adjustments to make some of the problems that are worse better? Oh yeah, I mean, it's the first up, bro. I'm from New Orleans, bro. I'm from Uptown 13 Ward, bro. I mean, y'all know how we get it in. I mean, producer literally told me come prepared. I said, I'm gonna spit it off my head. Roy Jones Jr., my favorite boxer. Candace on his new video. Hey, Lily the girl that said, nigga. Hey, a lot of people ask me like why I speak to Lily Gaddis and why I speak to Jake Shields. I think Jake got covered by CNN. They lied on my nigga, said he a white supremacist. He fuck with me, I'm black, bro. I don't agree with a lot of shit Lily says. She the girl, she said nigga and she got fired and then she got swatted, so she got into alternative right politics. And Jake used to fight and now he talks about like, I guess they conservative stuff. I feel like he didn't even come at blacks. But anyway, the reason why I talk to people like that is not because I agree with them. For one, I think they have the right to speak. And for two, I respect their like honesty. How are we going to get anywhere if we can't have conversations with people? How are we going to get everywhere if everybody gets fired for telling the truth? All we've done by firing people is have people say these things that they believe in private, and it doesn't end up helping society. But anywho, let me get back. I want to show y'all a video. Oh shit. What video would I find? Crime in America. This gonna show y'all something. I'm typing crime in America. Let's see what pops up. Let's see if it pops up rural America, Appalachia, or let's see if something in New York pops up or something in California with blacks or Hispanics. Because I didn't discuss crime. We about to discuss the crime rates. I said welfare. We're going to discuss the crime rates because I do know that. First, and y'all going to see it. First two things I pull up. Got News Nation. We got a black person killing a white woman. Most crime, I believe, is intraracial crime. So I believe most of the black murders happen by blacks and most of the white murders happen by whites. So I'm not sure why the first video when Crime in America pops up would be a black man killing a white woman. Let's see what this person is talking about on Newsmax. Leland Vivert. Whatever the fuck that is. I'll probably follow that boy.
Have not seen the horrific video of Irina Zaruka's murder.
Lord help us, y'all.
You need to.
Lord help us, y'all.
Most other media outlets refuse to cover the story because it destroys their narrative.
Oh,
this
shit.
Is not a media story that I'm about to do right now. This is a culture story. I'm going to tell you right now, it is disturbing and hard to watch this video, but it shows where we are in society. We've paused the video right before the moment of the stabbing. 2 weeks ago, the young Ukrainian refugee boarded a local train in Charlotte, North Carolina, a commuter train. She took her seat. You can see her sitting down right there and was scrolling on her phone like so many of us do. The man behind her watched her for just about 4 minutes. You can see him right there. He's been identified as DeCarlos Brown, a career criminal with 14 felony arrests.
I was about to judge this man. Right, he telling the truth.
Where we've paused it.
I had my own bias.
He pulled out a knife and stabbed her in the throat 3 times.
I was wrong.
Her brutal and unprovoked murder really now changes the conversation about crime in America and eliminates a full-scale shift in our culture. That's our Why It Matters segment tonight.
I think, so I don't even know what he about to discuss, but like, this is what I'm talking about. I was like dead wrong. Like, so I jumped to conclusions. Like, I seen this picture of the black dude killing this white woman, and then I just jumped and thought this man was about to shit on black people, but like, I was dead wrong. So I think other blacks should think for a second, like, how many times do we see something to jump to the conclusion that based upon seeing a white and a black, that the white person is going to say something about us based upon race or judge us? I mean, it just happened to me just now, so it might happen to you as well.
Is in a George Floyd moment, not about policing, but about crime. That video, remember, 5 years ago of Floyd's death, it changed how we talked about policing. This video has every reason to change the way we talk about crime.
We have a
Many
crime
of you
problem
probably
in America.
haven't seen the video until now. The same legacy media outlets that did wall-to-wall coverage of Floyd have largely ignored this story.
The media is biased.
And when they finally did talk about it this morning,
on point, man.
It was to call anybody who cared or was concerned about this story a racist.
Nigga talking about
I
me.
have to say, some of the replies to Musk, some of the comments around this story are baldly racist, stoking fear of African Americans because this man attacked a white woman.
So unarmed,
I'm gonna let this finish
innocent
before I
woman is
respond.
killed on a train, and the real problem is racism. That worked 5 years ago. It does not work anymore. This story is as much about race as the George Floyd story was and is. Race is center to this story. Okay. George Floyd, the story was about how police treated black Americans. The Irina Zaruka story is about the epidemic of black crime in America.
Right,
more specifically,
I gotta stop it. Now, I think so far he's been reporting, he's been reporting things correctly. And I definitely think there is a crime problem in America. So we should work to reduce crime, and we should talk about all crime that's happening. What's this, white, black on white, Hispanic on black, and all that. So let me see what else he's saying. But so far I stopped it because I think he's about to go into some bullshit, and I think I'm about to have to respond. I'm not gonna call him a straight up racist. I use the term now soft racist. Some people just have slight biases, but it seems like it's about to turn into what I thought it was going to turn into. And I thought it was going to turn into that. I'm not trying to pick on Elijah. I think he got a show, a network called Rift TV or some shit. So y'all can check that out if y'all want. But when I saw this on social media, what I saw was what it looks like he's about to go into. I seen the black and the white woman, and then all of a sudden, everybody started tweeting about black on white crime. And see, that's what I'm talking about when I say shit turns racist. This is a problem, crime is, and what this man did is a problem, and it should be discussed. And probably blacks are committing more crime in cities, and I'll explain why later. But what got me pissed off online was this black on white crime that they about to talk about is not the predominant like form of crime. So why, other than you being racist, would you focus on a type of crime that is not the most common? You would focus on maybe black on black crime, and then next Hispanic on Hispanic crime, and then next white on white crime. That's the order we need to focus on crime. Black on black is the highest. Focus on it. Next Hispanic on Hispanic. Focus on it. Next white on white. Focus on it. Not this bullshit they about to try to tell y'all. Let's focus on black crime. Next, let's focus on black on white crime. Black on white crime happens less than a white on. Let me shut up and let this man talk, because I get the going.
It is about how a host of progressive policies keep letting the worst offenders back on the street until they commit crimes like this. Before we go any further, though, we want to tell you about Irina. She escaped war-torn Ukraine and was setting up a better life for herself in America, in Charlotte. Her obituary describes her as, quote, a gifted and passionate artist who had a deep love for animals, adding that she was happiest when surrounded by family and loved ones. Reportedly, she had a Black Lives Matter poster in her house. Think about that. She escaped war only to get murdered here in America. The irony. Somehow all those folks who talk about Ukraine all the time aren't talking about her now. Coverage, or the lack of coverage on most of the major networks, shows the obvious bias and blindness by most media organizations to what Americans are actually scared about. If you're scared about something, you care about it. So in fact, the mayor of Charlotte praised media outlets for not showing the video. Of course, she doesn't want you to see the video, nor does she want you to see his criminal record. He had 33 run-ins with the law dating back to 2007, 14 arrests, 4 of them for felonies. He recently served 5 years in prison for armed robbery, but was let out early. Shortly after his release, he assaulted his own sister. He was let out.
Come on, I can't watch this, man.
But the mayor's statement didn't talk about that. She talked about
this person
needing
not in jail?
compassion for the alleged killer since he was homeless and had mental illnesses. Anybody who stabs a woman.
I hate to stop. See, because of the, I'm gonna get to the mental health. That's a lot of fucking crime, bro. Nigga got 14 arrests and he running around and killed. Come on, man. That ain't a white. I'm not saying we got to go back to 3. We might need to go back to 3 strikes on violent crime, but I mean 14 arrests. He clearly should be in jail.
In the throat, probably has mental illnesses.
That's true too.
But that's the point. For progressives and their friends in the media, they think that crime isn't the criminal's fault. Crime is somehow the fault of a racist country.
Now this is where I might disagree with him a little, and I'm not trying to disagree on purpose. Mental health is real. There's probably a higher percentage of people with mental health issues who commit crime, but mental health doesn't absolve you of your crime because you can get treatment in school, you can get treatment through hospitals, and with the liberal policies, we get free healthcare basically. Not free, somebody got to pay for it, but y'all get what I'm saying. We should take mental health seriously, and we should help those in need, but you should be punished for your crimes. And if some people are so mentally ill that you can't do anything to make them not be violent, maybe we need to put those people somewhere, some kind of facility. You can't just let somebody out because they're you want to have compassion for them. You can't have enough compassion on where they're killing innocent people.
President Trump offered a much different reaction on Truth Social. He wrote, "The blood of this innocent woman can literally be seen dripping from the killer's knife. And now her blood is on the hands of the Democrats who refuse to put bad people in jail."
All right. I did say liberal policies. That's true. He's reporting something factual, but I'll say this: when Trump starts talking about the blood is on the Democrats' hands and all that, this is how we start being hyperbolic. Yes, the Democrats need to listen to some of the Republican policies, but they don't have to go. It shouldn't be about scoring points. That's my main point is if the Democrats made a mistake, don't worry about pointing the finger and saying y'all wrong. Reach out to them and tell them, look, some of the things we're saying might help you with this issue. Consider listening to us.
People in jail. Those comments came after he offered this earlier.
I just give my love and hope to the family of the young woman who was stabbed this morning.
Me too. I send my condolences.
In Charlotte by a madman, a lunatic, just got up and started. It's right on the tape. Not really watchable because it's so horrible.
Bro,
but just viciously stabbed. She's just sitting there.
He holding it down.
So they're evil people We have to be able to handle that. If we don't handle that, we don't have a country.
North Carolina's governor, Democrat, appears to understand at least some of the optics of this story. He wrote on X, "We need more cops on the beat to keep people safe. That's why my budget calls for more funding to hire
I
more
didn't catch if they said this was a Democrat or a Republican, but I agree with that stance.
It is no longer about cops. And we know that because this guy was in jail. He had been arrested by cops, but kept getting let out. Bro. So it's not about cops, Governor. It's about Democrats refusing to be honest about who is committing the crimes and the ways to stop it. Like ending cashless bail or early release, which likely let the alleged Charlotte killer out of jail 14 times.
Cashless bail.
Democratic politicians often point out that crime is down in most major cities.
I believe it is.
You can make statistics say whatever you want.
Oh, nah, see, see with me, y'all, I ain't on one side. It's a tug and pull, bro. If the statistics said it was going up, they'll say it was going up. Now the statistics say it's going down. Now niggas say, no, you making up statistics. What it's gonna be? We believe the statistics or we don't for crime. We believe the statistics on the test with the blacks and Asians and the whites or we don't believe it. You know, we gotta make up our mind about if we're gonna accept the data or not based upon if we like the data.
Team Trump has already caught on to that. A Trump advisor told Axios this morning, crime is not a data thing. It's a feeling thing.
No, nigga, it's a fucking racist thing with you niggas, and that's why I'm coming at you niggas' neck. Y'all gonna have to, not have to, but y'all might gonna start adjust some of y'all talking points because people gonna see that y'all bullshitting them. It's not, crime is a data thing when y'all start talking about how 13% of the population commit 50% of the crimes. It's about data then.
Politicians don't understand that it's about how you feel when you walk on the subway platform.
How you feel? Let me calm down. If you're walking down the street at night, anywhere where there's a lot of people, there's a chance, like I just went through this. There are 10 projects in New Orleans. So I don't know what city this was in, but a lot of these cities have multiple projects. Anywhere you walking at night where they have poor and violent people, it's not about being poor. A lot of poor people, I'm going to get on that another time because you got a way poor people commit crime, middle commit crime, and upper class. I get on that another time. But what I'm about to say is when you have local crime that happens with poor people, anywhere you are where they have a lot of poor people, you're going to be fearful of that. I mean, you can't get rid of the lower class, nor should we. I notice a lot of times when we talk about the lower class of poor people, we do focus on crime, and that's wrong. The lower class, y'all do a lot. Y'all do a whole lot. You know, when the COVID came, the frontline workers and all these people, I want to say thank you, not just to the veterans, but everybody. The bus drivers, the school teachers, the cafeteria workers, everybody. I mean, people don't take the time to thank you guys, but like the lower class doesn't just do bad stuff. Y'all are the backbone of the fucking country. So I just wanted to say that too, but let me see what this man's talking about.
Subway platform. Right now, Americans don't feel safe. Gallup polling for March, 75% of Americans worry a great deal or a fair amount about crime. 67% of Americans were somewhat or very dissatisfied with the nation's policies to reduce crime.
Okay. We can
right
get
now,
better on
Americans
crime.
feel like crime is spiraling out of control.
What Americans, bro? Like, us. Right now, I think conservatives think there's more crime. I think conservatives are more fearful of crime. Liberals, yes, anybody in the city is worried about crime because there's so many people, but I don't think the people in the cities, for the most part, are thinking that crime is spiraling out of control. I don't agree with that.
And now we can finally have an honest conversation about it without being called racist.
Oh, shit. No. See? Never mind. Let me hold it in. See, this what a problem I had with Republicans. This why I respect Elijah. This why I respect Jake. This why I respect Lily. See, he didn't talk about blacks the whole time, but then he kind of ended it or went to the commercial talking about, well, we can't talk about crime because it's racial. And that's what I mean. It's like innuendo. So half of them compliments I gave this dude, I kind of want to take them back. It's like he hitting that stuff, then don't say it. He hitting that stuff and then don't say it. It's like, this is how black people pick up on certain things. It's like you don't overtly call us names and you don't overtly do things. But if you hitting at it all the time, like now I feel like he hitting that crime is black. The way he talking about it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.
Cuomo got a new gig, y'all. Oh, he took that boy off CNN. I don't know why. Oh, video over. Zoop. All right. That might have been the show for the day. I didn't have nothing else prepared. Let me see. Let me see if there's another. Let me do this for y'all. Let me see about this story. Not crime in America. What was the thing of that the man who stabbed the woman? Black man, white. I just want to see how somebody else cover it and give y'all another reaction to see like, is what I'm thinking what's really out there or just something different? Okay, this is Fox. See what they said. Newsmax, you did a good job except for some of the innuendo. It was fair coverage though. Wrap up. All right. I'm hearing from the producers that not in my ear, but in front, we still low budget. I'm hearing from the producers we got to cut off the show. So I wanted to let you guys know that I enjoy doing this, but also like feel free to hit me up on social media at LILMOEMUSIC. Only on X right now. We have other socials that we're creating on the fly for the show. But feel free to hit me up. Let me know what you thought about the show. Let me know if there are any topics you want to discuss or videos you want to send me. And, I look forward to talking to you guys, and I look forward to us hashing things out. Peace.